Welcome back to the second episode of the Coach's Corner. My name is Grant Patterson. I'm here with IU Kokomo head baseball coach Colin Connor. Coach, thanks for joining us this week.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Of course, another big weekend series. We just completed a 2-1 series win over Brescia. As we touched on last week's show, winning every series is going to be crucial. Not a focus on sweeping or taking all three games, but just taking 2 of 3, and that'll put us in a great spot at the end of the year. Touch on this weekend series and how your team responded after bouncing back from a Game 1 loss.
Yeah, I think a big part of Game 2 was just kind of showing up with just a little bit more of a presence. You know, something that's been a really big focus for us is just the idea of not waiting around for things to happen. You know, so love how we responded in Game 2. Game 3 was really cool because, like, for the first time we came from behind to win. You know, so a little bit of a weird game in the middle. Had some things that were interesting in terms of the way the game went, but to get bases low that inning and pinch hit Peyton Lear to hit a double, and we were kind of grabbing the momentum as the game went on, but it was really great to get in a spot where the bullpen gave us a chance, and then when we had a big moment, we took care of that.
Yeah, we touched on this last week, how many weekend schedules have not been the same. And that was the same this past weekend with the Friday-Sunday series at home against Brescia. And that gave you just one day off before you went and played a midweek game Tuesday at Marion. Touch on that midweek game at Marion against the Knights.
Yeah, so obviously they're playing really well.
Yeah, 43 runs on Monday is no joke.
No joke at all. And I think they scored 99, gave up 16.
Yeah.
So they've been playing really well. And to go to their place was also kind of a good thing for us.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, first midweek that was like scheduled normally. Got to throw some guys out of the bullpen.
Right.
Asa gave a chance in the start, and then I thought on the mound we kind of gave ourselves a chance, but I think just the big takeaway after the game was kind of going back to what we just talked about, is just stop waiting around. You know, we had a really good conversation after the game about, like, once again, playing for each other and
being the aggressor.
Yeah. And stop feeling sorry for yourself.
Right.
You know, because at the end of the day, we don't need to wait around. We can be the one that delivers the first blow. So didn't play super amazing. You know, still had a 6-2 game. When we can decide, or we choose to be the aggressor, in your words, we'll have a chance to kind of put some teams in their back.
Right.
You know? So I think that was the big takeaway yesterday from that, and just it's time for us to go. It's time for us to be the one that sets the tone instead of waiting for other people.
Yeah, a bit of a follow-up question to that, Coach Connor, is touch on the differences in preparation, going from a 3-game weekend set to 9 innings in a 7-inning game as part of River State's conference play, and then you're playing a midweek game at a quality opponent like Marion of the Crossroads League.
Yeah, so preparation obviously is a lot different.
Right.
You know, you got one game, you're probably going to see 5 or 6 bullpen arms. Usually there's probably 2 different starters that are kind of subbed in the lineup.
Yeah.
So a big part of that is just, once again, showing up and being ready to play. Whereas a conference weekend series, you know who the 3 starters are going to be.
Right.
You know who their main guys are going to be out of the bullpen. You know what the lineup looks like. You have a little bit more of a report in terms of the arms, and also we have a little bit more in the shifts when you look at the conference play.
No doubt.
It's a little bit more traditional, like just play baseball, just because you got to prepare for so many different things. But I think there's a little bit of an art to learning, like, hey, you're going to have to play off script. Hey, the bullpen's going to have to give us a chance. And you have an opportunity to play really good teams.
Yeah.
You know, we got midweek against Taylor. We got a midweek against Indiana Tech that is 4-1 against top 25 teams.
Right.
Obviously played Marion yesterday. So it just gives you a chance to be challenged against really, really good teams.
Coach, we're 2 weekends into River State's conference play, another big weekend coming up against Rio Grande. Touch on some things that, as a coaching staff, you guys are looking for the team to improve upon.
Yeah, so obviously we hit on it a little bit in terms of just, like, setting the tone.
Right.
You know, and I think something else that we have talked about as a group is just offensively figuring out kind of who we are, you know, and there are some weapons hidden within our offense that allow us to do have a chance to have some success.
No doubt.
We've ran bases a lot better. I think on the mound we've done a good job of giving ourselves a chance.
Right.
And we believe in our offense. We believe in what we do. We believe in how we prepared them. The last step is just kind of, we talked to the guys, like, just allow yourself to have success. So I think offensively, it's being able to string together good at bats. It's being really good in positive counts. It's allowing us to take our bases, and then when we need a good swing, just take a really good at bat.
Right.
Like we said last time, it's an amazing how many things that we've been able to teach this team.
Yeah.
And we've been able to learn, and that learning continues.
Right.
You know, so the best part about where we're at or what we're going is we're like 17 games in. You know, we got at least 30 left, and at the beginning of the year, we talked to the team about like you got your first third, you got the middle third, and you got the last third. The really cool thing is there is more time for us to find the groove and to find our way and to get in this lane where we are winning series, but we're also able to string together a few more games. You know, so I think the biggest thing to take away is just setting the tone and offensively just allowing ourselves to have success.
100%. We touched on it with going straight from River State's conference play into a midweek, but based off the research you've done so far, what can we expect from a Rio Grande squad this weekend?
We're going to be well coached. Coach has been there for a really long time. They really run bases.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
I did notice that.
Yeah, they really run bases. They only had about 50% of their at-bats back.
Okay.
But it'll just be a really good weekend because once again, we're back at home. We have a chance to control things the way that we can. And I think it's just another good opportunity for us to go do what we talked about last time. Do everything you can to win 2 out of 3.
100%. As Coach touched on there, the Cougars are at home this weekend for a normal Friday and Saturday set. 3 p.m. first pitch Friday afternoon against the Red Storm of Rio Grande, then a 12 p.m. first pitch on that doubleheader on Saturday. Another thing we want you to keep on the radar, on your calendar, if you will, is March 28th is Senior Day against Midway. So make sure you get that on the calendar and plan on being here at Kokomo Municipal Stadium as we honor our senior class. Coach, thanks for joining me again this weekend on this episode of the Coach's Corner.
Thanks for having me, dude.